From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, December the 6th, 2022. Over 100 lawmakers from both sides of the aisle in the House and Senate signed onto a letter to President Joe Biden calling for the development of a unified national strategy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism and ensure closer interagency coordination with the goal of adopting a whole-of-government approach. Spearheaded by Democratic Senator Jackie Rosen with Republican Senator James Lankford and Democratic Representatives Kathy Manning and Republican Chris Smith, co-chairs of the Senate and House bipartisan task forces, respectively, for combating anti-Semitism. The letter reads, in part, "We welcome the measures the administration has taken thus far to address anti-Semitism. However, combating a growing threat of this magnitude, particularly here at home, requires a strategic whole-of-government approach. Because many individual agencies play a critical role in combating anti-Semitism, closer coordination is needed to share best practices, data, and intelligence, identify gaps in efforts, streamline overlapping activities and roles, and execute a unified national strategy." As we reported to you, the White House will hold a roundtable with Jewish leaders tomorrow, hosted by Second Gentleman Douglas Emhoff, on combating anti-Semitism. Among the leaders who will be present, new CEO of the American Jewish Committee, Ted Deutsch, who thanked the White House for the effort and wrote, "Anti-Semitism is not a problem for the Jewish community alone. Venomous hate targeting Jews threatens American society, indeed our democracy." Deutsch said, by convening this important roundtable, the Biden administration has demonstrated that it recognizes the severity of the problem and is committed to taking additional steps in partnership with the Jewish community to more effectively confront anti-Semitism in all its forms. Israel's foreign ministry reportedly held a meeting today with United Nations envoy to the Middle East, Tor Venezuelan, after a tweet he posted regarding an attack in the West Bank Arab town of Hurara on Friday, where a Palestinian man, after trying to break into a car with an Israeli couple inside, ran at a nearby border police officer and stabbed him in the face. Another officer pulled the attacker away, who then tried to grab that officer's rifle. The officer then pulled out his handgun and shot and killed the attacker. Venezuelan tweeted that he was horrified by the killing of the Palestinian during what he called a scuffle with Israeli soldiers. The Foreign Ministry's Emmanuel Nachshon called Venezuelan's comments a total distortion of reality. This incident, he said, is a terror attack in which an Israeli policeman was stabbed in his face and the life of another police officer was threatened, and consequently he shot his assailant. This is not a scuffle. Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid tweeted in response, "Any attempt to distort reality and tell a false story in the world is simply a disgrace." The Al-Jazeera network submitted what it said today was evidence to the International Criminal Court in The Hague, which it claims shows that journalist Shireen Abu Akleh was deliberately targeted by IDF soldiers. If you recall, in May of this year, Abu Akleh was hit by gunfire during an intense gun battle between Israeli soldiers and Palestinian gunmen in Jenin. Israel's investigation found that the veteran journalist was likely hit by errant Israeli fire that was clearly unintentional. The Times of Israel cited Defense Minister Benny Gantz, who said, "I regret the death of Shireen Abu Akleh." But we need to remember that this was a clear incident of combat that was probed in the most rigorous and in-depth manner. Gantz saying there is no army that acts with a work ethic like the IDF's. Closing statements were made today in the trial of 97-year-old Irmgard Fürkner, accused of being part of the apparatus that helped the Nazis' Stutthof concentration camp function. Tens of thousands died at the camp in Poland, where Fürkner served as a secretary to its SS commander. and prosecutors are asking for a conviction of accessory to murder. The Associated Press reports that Faulkner's lawyers asked today for her to be acquitted, claiming that she did not know of the atrocities taking place at the camp. In her closing statement today, Faulkner was cited by the AFP saying, "I'm sorry about everything that happened. I regret that I was in Stutthof at the time." A verdict is expected on December the 20th. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Tuesday, December the 6th at 7 o'clock, Rabbi Ammiel Hirsch examines the democratic political system and the growing extremism that is happening here and throughout the Western world. At 7:30, Central Synagogue's Rabbi Angela Buchdahl speaks with Simran Jeet Singh about anti-Semitism, anti-Asian discrimination, and her role as the first woman to lead New York City's historic Reform Synagogue. At 8, it's the Voices for Truth and Humanity Awards dinner. JBS President Mark S. Golub receives an award, and champion of the Uyghur people, Prime Minister Salih Hudayar, is honored. In highlights from this gala in support of Holocaust education and the fight against all hatred, bigotry, and BDS. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with American-born Israelis Josh Malkman and Kayla Doolin, who each served in the IDF, during a visit to the U.S. to combat BDS on college campuses. At 10:30, Joel Chasnoff explores the facets of leadership involved in the success of an IDF unit. And coming up next, it's the Dershow. And that's the JBS News Update for Tuesday, December the 6th, 2022. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.